Welcome to Clixed Off, a podcast for Heroclix strategy and tactics discussion. Want to support the show? Check out patreon.com/ClixedOff. $1 and above allows you to vote on our monthly Patreon segment, and $5 gets you into our Patreon-only Discord channel. Additional levels include monthly practice games and private coaching. Now for your hosts, Daniel Powell, Jason Alvey, and Alex Cruz.
Hey everybody, welcome to Clixed Off today. This is your host Daniel Powell speaking. Just excited to have everybody joining us today. Alex, I'm still adjusting to the new intro where I don't have to talk about all the intro stuff. But joining me today is Jason. Gets his stuff before I do, even though I'm closer to the post office. Alvey.
Yes, the Postal Service is in my favor this time.
And also joining me today is Alex. Had to go to Florida on a family vacation instead of playing in Origins. Coos.
Listen, I had a blast. I spent probably as much money as you guys did at Origins, though. So it was a great time. Unfortunately, I brought all the heat from Florida up.
Yeah.
For this upcoming week, because it's going to be a nightmare for East
Thanks
Coast.
for that.
Yeah, it was like 95, 96 the whole time down there with the humidity. And that's about to be what this upcoming week is for most of us. So
I've got 3, 4, 5 fans going and an auxiliary window unit. I need some new windows in my house, but that's what it's taken to keep her cool around here. And lastly, our special guest joining us today is your 2026 U.S. National Champion, Isaac A.B.
Hey, happy to be here.
I don't remember what year it was, because I could have said 2019, 2022, 2024, or 2025 Canadian champion, and I would have all been correct. Do you ever get tired of winning them?
No, of course not.
That's good. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, getting winning's boring, right?
I mean, at this point, he's just the national champion. And there's not like whatever year it is. It's just like, no, Isaac's the national champion.
Yeah. Not even counting all of the world champions on top of that, but just the national one. Yeah, if we were sending anybody to a World Cup as Americans, we would send a bottle of ranch and Isaac.
Can we start placing bets on DraftKings on this? And I'm just going to start putting my money on him.
It'd have to be Kalshi. Kalshi would be
Kalshi?
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do Kalshi, yeah.
Kalshi would be the one that would have to take that bet.
Lordy, that's all Heroclix needs is gambling. If we already got issues with cheating, let's add in some sort of gambling apps to say, well, he said he was going to lose tournament and he took the bet. And
let's get the mob involved while we're at it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly what we need to start doing.
We already gamble by opening boosters. We don't need more.
Imagine how fun the boosters are.
Yeah.
Not that fun.
Yeah, for real.
On top of that, I mean, I've started. Theo has started wanting to get his first master set of Pokemon for Perfect Order. But he only wants to get it by opening packs. So talk about gambling.
Jeez, that's rough.
Does he have a job yet?
Yeah.
He's going to need one.
And then on top of that, the guys have got me looped into buying Magic Collector boosters.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you looped yourself into that.
Y'all said the cards were worth money.
There are cards worth money in there. Just You just didn't pull them.
Yeah.
You should be more focused on getting all of these super exclusive vault boosters that we're going to need.
Yeah, tell me about it.
For the 100 some odd things, it feels like that's only in vault boosters.
Yeah, I mean, pre-releases didn't get vault boosters, right?
No.
I don't think so.
A lot of places didn't get pre-releases.
Yeah, people didn't get their stuff, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of stores or people posting how their stores haven't gotten it yet. And I mean, what releases? Not this week, but next week.
Yeah,
week and a half away.
Isaac, did you win your pre-release at Highlander?
I did, yeah. Pulled the absolute Batman.
Okay,
So
well
good.
that helps. That helps a lot, right?
Yeah, a little bit. The real star of the show is that rare Robin. Ooh, double outwit. So good.
Does he ignore hindering for targeting?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. So he's like he's a Batman family killer. Well, but today, so I'll give you all a little bit of preview listening to the show about what our schedules look like. Today, we're all about Origins review, Origins recap, talking about the juice and eggs. And then we have 2 more episodes coming up quickly. We have our Anthony episode, which is actually going to be Adam's. Adam Friedman is going to be joining us. At least that's what's in the works, to present some data about strength of schedule. And so that's coming up. And then we obviously have our Batman Fight for Gotham set review coming up. And additionally, the Sudden Death crew are trying to rally themselves together to interview Caleb for getting second place at U.S. Nationals. So, lots of activity coming up here during the summer in regards to recording stuff. So, let's kind of run through a little bit of Origins. Let's talk a little bit about the organization and how things were ran this year on the WizKids side and on the convention side. So, first of all, Origins. I think the big thing was Origins has a super quick check-in process. At least comparatively to Gen Con. Jason, did you get
there's less people? That's part of it.
Well, they don't have personalized name badges this year. You just kind of scan and beep boop and go, right?
Right, but I mean that doesn't. That's not really the thing that's speeding it up. I mean, there's just not that many people in line.
Right. And then metal detectors. We were awfully worried about the body scanners. They're not metal detectors, they're body scanners. And
they were fine.
And they were fine. I think we only got delayed by about 5 minutes one day going into the con.
Very first, yeah. It wasn't bad at all. Nothing like I thought it might be.
Isaac, did you get your badges shipped to you, or did you guys check in?
Oh, we checked in, but it took like 30 seconds to just show them QR code, give them our badge, and go.
Yeah. So, I think Origins continues to really be, I think, the right size convention to host Heroclix at. It hasn't gotten too big for its britches. There's still plenty of space. The food options were a little bit more limited this year, but I think that's only because we've gotten spoiled by the previous year Origin food options.
What was the previous year? I wasn't there.
Well, you've been there in previous years when they've had the Subway and the Chipotle style bowl place. Okay,
I remember that now. That was like 3 years ago. Yeah.
Well, and then Subway's always been in there as well.
I didn't see that when I was there this time.
Yeah, that was the thing. I think that was the notable missing was the 2 food places. But, we had ample breaks to go get food. I never felt hungry well, I did feel hungry, but I never felt like ravenous or, worried about being able to get something to eat or rushed to get something to eat.
I mean, water could have been easier. There's no bottle refill stations.
There was, we just missed it.
Where was it?
It was past the bathrooms. We had to go further. It was right there by the bathrooms.
Okay.
And additionally, Wild Bill Soda right there also has water that was available to the public.
So let me ask you this, speaking of food and everything. For people that didn't go to Origins, like myself, but have considered it, what would you say, how much did you spend money-wise on food? Like, what was your budget, your food budget?
So, and Isaac, if you have an answer here too, we did the Clixed Off Airbnb. So we had breakfast every morning. I provided that from a bacon, sausage, eggs, cheese, milk perspective. But we have a family friend that gave us some food, like gives us some frozen stuff. So I probably spent $80 on breakfast for the house for all 4 days. And then about $6 a day on coffee. I'm just adding it up on ad lib. Alex and Jason might have and Isaac might have a different answer. So $6 for coffee. It was about $20 for lunch because that little place there was expensive, and then the North Market was obviously expensive, but it's nice food expensive, not convention center overpriced expensive. And then we spent probably $30 on supper. So let's call it $60 a day on food.
Okay.
And that was eating, not just ham and cheese sandwiches. I mean, that was eating a nice meal for supper.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to B-Dubs on one night because that's what we do.
Thursday specifically, we went to
Thursday.
B-Dubs.
Yeah, on our normal night. Yeah, I didn't eat lunch every day. The only day I ate any lunch was on Saturday when the Nationals, they gave us a lunch break. I didn't eat lunch Thursday or Friday. I just ate the breakfast and then ate supper. So it was about $80, I guess.
Okay.
A day for the most part. Yeah.
I was just curious. You were talking about food, and I know one thing keeping people away from going to these type of conventions, one is the amount of people there, but two is finances. Being able to afford.
Origins is much less filled with people than Gen Con.
Yeah, I mean, I do know the rest of the breakdown. I mean, we're within driving distance. It was $225 a person for our Airbnb. About $60 a day on food. It was $60 for the badge, I think.
The badge was $60.
I think I spent between playing Silver, Team Sealed, and Modern was about $120 worth of tickets. And then fuel was obviously, I drive a 1-ton diesel pickup, so that I spent up $200 in diesel to go.
Okay, that's not bad.
So all in, about $600.
Yeah, I think I spent about $300 something on tickets because I played a bunch of BRs, but I made that back. So.
Yeah, and you got ConLEs to consider as well, right?
Yeah. So call it $780 because I spent $180 at the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I spent $230 at the booth buying like one of everything I didn't have. So.
Yeah.
Isaac, what about y'all?
I wouldn't be able to give exact numbers, but as for like food and stuff, they were able to give, like, I felt like they gave more food breaks than they normally do, at least. And so we weren't forced to go to like right down the hall and spend $25 on some chicken nuggets. We could go and get like a sandwich somewhere like outside, which was nice. And I don't know, like besides that, I couldn't give exact metrics and feelings on that. Normally we're
Okay.
of the mindset that we're going to make back whatever we spend when we go to these things.
Right. Yeah, so that's only going to happen for the BR Sharks and, Isaac. I would say for myself personally, this is the first time I did not... I didn't win shit. Let's just say it that way. By the way, just to be clear, I didn't have a good Origins. Performance, that is. I had a fantastic time. I had fantastic games. But my performance, my ELO ranking, tanked. Do we have a soundboard for that one? Yeah, here we go. So I'll get that out of the way. So I was out money for Origins. Jason, do you think you got all of your trip paid for by your BR shenanigans?
No, I didn't do that. But I mean, I paid for the BRs themselves. I still got some stuff left that I haven't got rid of. But I mean, I paid for the BRs. I paid for a lot of it.
So you think you got to basically pay BRs for free, get some stuff you didn't have, and you're still working on maybe chipping away at your overall expenditure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I came out okay. I mean...
Now, were you guys able to go back and get any of the Connellies on Sunday or whatever they were talking about?
We didn't go Sunday.
Oh,
we could have done it on Saturday, but I don't have any desire to do all of that.
The first day they told us when it opened, they told us it was going to be one per person for Thursday. You got one for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but your one was all you got for those days. And they said if they had extras, they were going to open it up on Sundays. What they told us to begin with. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting during Nationals. They decided to open it up for everybody on Saturday. Well, we're busy playing Nationals, so I didn't go over there. And I was having trouble getting around personally because I had some physical, health issues going on. So I didn't go back over there at all. Yeah,
because I know some people make some of their money back by buying Connellies and just selling them to locals or something, right? You don't make. Some people just scalp them, but usually some people can. If Galactus was $100, they'll sell it to a local for $110. Pay for some gas or something to get it for them. But I know that's another method people used to use, unless they do the whole one con.
Yeah, you could have still done that for sure.
Yeah.
Could have, but I was not interested in doing that. I didn't care. So
it's a harder hustle.
It is. It's a harder hustle. Jason, just so people don't worry about you, could you share that you just messed up your foot?
Yes, I had an issue with my foot, and I was hobbling around. It was difficult to walk and stand a lot, so I did not traipse around the dealer hall. I just want to be clear: Jason's not dying or anything, folks. He is alive. Nothing that serious. Yeah. I'm not on anything bad. So, but yeah, it was just my mobility was impacted, so it was a little bit hard to get around.
Yeah.
But I am on the mend.
Now, Isaac, did y'all buy any? You won all the buyables, right? So y'all didn't have to go buy any of those, right?
Yeah, although we got all of ours on Friday when we first arrived, but we had promised if we got any extra to get them to some locals, so that worked out really well.
Good. Well, let's talk a little bit about each day. Let's talk Thursday for Silver. Isaac, did you play Silver?
I didn't know. We couldn't make it in time for Thursday.
Okay.
Did you guys all play?
I was
Silver?
I was the only one in here that
No.
played silver. Jason, you played BRs all day Thursday, right? Any highlights from your BRs on Thursday?
I don't know. We had the first table I sat down at. We pulled a chase, a super rare prime, and a rare prime. That was pretty cool. Oh,
Which chase?
thing.
What? Sorry, you cut out. Which chase?
Oh, we got Clintar and Chase and like Prime Scream and then Prime Electra and like one BR there we sat down at. So that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like they were a little bit stingy on giving out the new stuff. But they rectified that a little bit later on.
Right.
Well, rather than be stingy day one, then not stingy, and you roll up Saturday, and they're like, "Yeah, we got the worst
Like-
of the Connellies."
like, So like what they were doing, like the new ones were like Steel and the Kinetic Hammer and the Captain America Shield and the Atlantean Warrior were like the new stuff, right? So
Yeah.
you only got like one of those 4 things per table. Then the rest of they gave out 3 other things, and they were all stuff that had been given out previously, like the Black Lantern ring or the Legion ring or like the other like Kyle Rayner, the Trophy Construct, some of the older
Yeah.
stuff from like Worlds last year. Like 2 tables I sat down at. The last 2, the newest thing I had in the prizing was like Kyle Rayner. That was it. Like there was none of the 4 new ones. So that kind of sucked.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Legion ring I can understand because that was only one event, right? Same with the
yeah, and that was fine. Yeah,
yeah.
I was looking for the newer things. I didn't have those, and I just didn't get opportunity at them the first day, really.
Yeah. Well, it also
But,
stunk that the timing didn't work out with Batman. Because having
Yeah.
to play Venom again in like your almost 3rd event. Was Adepticon Venom also, or was that?
No, I don't know. H for H was.
Yeah.
H for
so
H
it's like-
was.
So go from H to H for H. Yeah, I know H for H was. I'm just trying to think if there was a 3rd event. I guess not, because Venom came out in the beginning of April.
Yeah, there hasn't been a 3rd event. I mean,
But like that's gotta suck. Two months in, and it's like, nah, they couldn't somehow bring Batman.
It was just a logistic thing, I think, was the problem.
yeah.
Just
I
couldn't get
guess.
it there in time.
Yeah, you would think they'd be
Would've
able to
been fun.
control that a bit better.
So, on Thursday, I played in silver, and I played null with an Infinity Gauntlet because I'm stubborn.
You? No.
Yeah.
Daniel.
It's just so much.
just-
You know what? It's called a competitive player having fun. Because
It's just fun.
you know
Yeah,
how you know how fun it is to pick slingshot and hit somebody for 12.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, if you went out there and looked at, because there were 39 teams in the tournament, there was not a lot of, like, Eternity was the one that popped up on the most teams, I think, main force, 12 teams. But once you get past
12.
Eternity, and then,
12. There were 12 main force eternities. I haven't even looked yet.
yeah, once you get past Eternity, then you get, the usual players, right? The Phoenix Pog, Time Breakers. But even Butterfly was only on 8 teams, and then it just drops down to 6 teams, have like a Lockjaw or a Daredevil. And so that just shows there was a lot of variety, I guess, outside of Eternity and Butterfly, I guess, at 8 teams.
That just makes me laugh. I mean, oh, Eternity was 30, almost 33, a third of the field, basically.
Yeah, pretty close.
That's funny.
But what's going to be interesting is, obviously we haven't talked about it on the show because we haven't had a chance to record that there's been a big shakeup with Silver Age to Silver Age in general, right? Aaron stepped down, and now Dennis is a head judge, but it's going to be run by supposedly a committee, is what we hear. But remains to be seen how this committee determines how they want to do Silver Age.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be very interesting to see, like, do we get our first taste of this revamped, I'm making quotes, revamped Silver Age for, like, at Worlds?
Yeah, that's a good
What
question.
are they going to change? What are they going to do? Like, are they going to take it back, listen and take it down to 300? Or are they going to keep it status quo and just kind of do what Aaron was doing anyway and just keeping it as a committee so that way people can't exactly point fingers? Because I think that was one of the things with Aaron that I felt bad for him for, is because he was kind of the main focal point of it, being the head judge. Everything was just kind of pointed at him, even though he didn't make all the decisions himself, right? Like, WizKids was heavily involved. So that's where I think the committee approach, unless everyone finds out who's on the committee,
Yeah.
it's not going to be like, it's this guy. He chose to get rid of Eternity or whatever.
Yeah. So I think a couple of points quickly. 8 out of the 12 Eternity teams all played Black Flash. I didn't do a Bloodstone check, but the equipment, number one, again, this is also in Modern, number one equipment is the Bloodstone. 14 teams, over a third of the field, played the Bloodstone. And including the winner, including second, all of top 4 played the Bloodstone on their main force.
I mean, can anybody be surprised by that, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think if the play rate is a determining factor and the conversion rate, obviously Bloodstone made top 4 in silver, they got to do something about the Bloodstone. And I know we've got 2 more days to talk about it. You should see the 60-some% play rate in Modern for Saturday and Sunday. Look, they banned Perdegaton, and he had less of a play rate than this in Modern. That is.
We gotta. Is there another equipment related change they've made that we can relate to this? Because Perdegaton's a figure. Like,
I know.
I don't want to compare the two. It is a little bit of an apples and oranges situation. But what was the last equipment that they've affected due to play rate?
I don't think they've ever changed an equipment due to power level, have they?
I don't think.
I can't remember that.
I don't think they're going to do Jack to Bloodstone because it retires at Worlds, after Worlds, right? So
I don't think they're going to do jack to anything right now.
I mean, when we start talking Modern, there may be a couple things they could do, but
All right.
Bloodstone, I think, is one of those. I don't want to say necessary evils. It isn't, but there's so much healing, and this isn't just relating to Null. There's other. I mean, we just got a very good one-shot related to healing. There's a lot of healing out there, and the Bloodstone helps with that a little bit.
I know, but is it that much?
Well, the thing is we haven't seen, what other things besides, what Modern pieces do something similar to the Bloodstone?
Well, so I think the thing is if the Bloodstone is such a needed equipment, it is obviously hampering something from being good. And I think Silver, would be a good example. Are the Black Lanterns that good? And I really think the combo really comes down to Eternity, Black Flash, Bloodstone. Just because I think 8 of the Black Flash teams with Eternity all had Bloodstone on them with them as well. So Eternity, Bloodstone, Black Flash is nuts in Silver and in Modern.
To that point, I think the change they make there is not to Bloodstone, it's to Black Flash. And the changes they make, they just say it's got to be a printed keyword. It could have somehow a Speedster printed or something, right? Because the problem is explicitly is Eternity. I know Reverse Flash was played more than Eternity was, but Eternity is also, it's a combo of Reverse Flash and Eternity. So if you take Eternity's ability away from using the Black Flash trigger, I think you would I think you would see the play go down a bit, because I think a lot of people like that flexibility of the Black Flash trigger.
Sure.
But I don't think Bloodstone's the issue. It's annoyance for those that rely on healing. I don't think it's the issue. I think Eternity's probably the bigger issue.
Isaac, what do you think?
I'm a little conflicted. I certainly don't think Bloodstone is the issue, although as a fellow Silver Null player, I wouldn't be sad to see it go. But I'm really unsure why Eternity was so represented in Silver. Obviously I didn't play in it, so I wasn't like experiencing what it could do. But like I've played against it in Modern, and he's just okay. Like he's a 10 attack, 3 damage. He can see all around, but the offensive like capabilities of plenty of other 50-point characters are way better. So I'm not sure why. Like it's pretty crazy to me that Eternity was a third of the teams.
Well, I think it comes down to, you know, you look at some of these Eternity teams, and they're making him, like, sneaky good. Like, you look at Isaac J's Scientist Squad that got second place. Eternity now can take the Batman enemy. So now he's 50 points for 12 for 3. And you throw a Weasel in there with enhancement and a copycat, and now he's suddenly 12 for 5. And it's not like you're committing a whole bunch to doing this. I mean, Weasel's still really good by itself. Copycat's still really good by herself. So now you're 12 for 5.
13.
Weasel makes it 13. You're right. Now you're 13 for 5, plus the Black Flash damage.
It's in my opinion, it's really just the Black Flash damage. It's that extra ping that they take the unavoidable, and you don't heal it because of Bloodstone. Like, I think it's that interaction that's the problem, and you don't want to take that away from something like Reverse Flash, right? Someone that has the printed speedster, and this gives like Reverse Flash a final hurrah before he goes into retirement. Like, all of that's fine. I think it's just Eternity technically keyword cheating, because it has all keywords, to be able to just use that proc and be able to just shoot through everything. And so even if you don't, do damage, because Eternity doesn't have penetrating damage unless you went extra lengths to give it penetrating damage, it's still doing the ping through basically the whole map, which is good and annoying. So I don't know if maybe just a slight hit needs to happen to the Black Flash just to take Eternity out of the whole speedster trigger. Like, I feel like that's enough of a hit to keep Eternity still playable, keep Black Flash and the rest of the speedsters still playable, but doesn't make it where everyone feels like they have to play that combo in general. But we could talk about Reverse Flash too, because it actually saw more play in Modern than Eternity did.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on, let's get there on Modern, because that's probably where we're going to spend most of our time, to be honest, and some of the questions. Sealed on Friday. I'll give my rundown. Jason, you didn't play. You played more BRs. We pulled a hybrid and a Chase Venom, the Sinister Syndicate Venom. And Outwit exists in the set, and hybrid can be outwitted. So I struggle bust for the team. I ran the hybrid at full. I know one of the other teams that made cut, Ant and Micah and Luke. Luke played hybrid at low. I mean, I could have not. We didn't have anything else in our brick. I could have gobbledygooked together. But I did play it with the Venomax, which hybrid with the Venomax was beastly. But if they had Outwit, I just was stuck. So that kind of sucked. There was a team that pulled 2 nulls in the event. Now, of course, they were replaced with something else, but they had a null in their brick and they had a null chase booster. I personally think that we should have just awarded them the win, and we should have all played for second place.
I mean, they won by having $200+ figures and more. Did they get? They got 2 replacement chases, right?
Yeah, I don't know who they got though.
I mean, it's a win either way.
Yeah, I will say my most memorable move during the event was I was playing against a poison THANOS at full, and the gentleman, I was like, man, I got to roll an 8 twice to be able to crack this poison THANOS, and sure enough, the gentleman created a hive and placed it next to his THANOS, which meant I had to go hit the hive and then cracked his poison THANOS for 5. He said, I probably shouldn't have generated that. And I said, you probably shouldn't have. But they were also the folks that were sitting right across from us during opening. And he was very excited.
Did you have the Venomax or something?
Yeah, I Venomaxed hit the hive and then cracked the THANOS for 5 with the Venomax.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. But Isaac, what did y'all pull? What did you play? And how well did y'all do?
We pulled Clintar and the Chase Spider-Man. So, not the best chases, but they're alright. We got no primes, no equipments. And we spent a lot of time prepping for the team event. Honestly, probably more time than we spent prepping for the modern event. So I was very happy that with the teams we ended up playing. We lost in top 8. I won my match, but it felt like my opponent's team had like all the dregs on it, and so Clay and my dad had to fight through Gore the God Butchers and Prime Screams. And we lost in a roll-off to decide who got to move on.
Gotcha. It was fun. Team Sealed is always fun. So Isaac, I don't know what I'm looking for. The trophy you haven't gotten yet is WizKids Team Sealed. You've gotten the Rock Team Sealed when they did that. This was a test of Clay and your dad going into Worlds. Are you figuring out who you're going to have on your team for Team Worlds?
We don't figure that out that far in advance. It's usually just whoever of the 4 points says they're coming will make a team.
Well,
whoever responds last has to find 2 new people.
Well, then a suggestion: you need to pick early so that you can start beating them into submission for Team Sealed.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing we don't that's the thing we don't realize yet. The only other, or maybe not the only other, but one of the few titles that Isaac doesn't have yet is BR champion. So we don't.
Oh, that's true.
So Worlds, we're going to be like, oh, what's Isaac going to be playing? And he's going to be chilling at the BR tables the whole time, knocking everybody out to be the BR champion.
That's true. That's a new one.
Tell them.
That's a new one. Yeah.
Secret.
Yeah, Isaac, there's a new one now. That's right. You haven't gotten WizKids Team World Champion, and you're missing BR Champion. To be fair, I tell people this, and Isaac, I know you probably don't play too many BRs much anymore. BRs are probably the hardest format to play in. Things are so tight. There is zero room for error when you're wanting to win them, right? Like you're wanting to win, you're wanting to do the BR champion, you're wanting to get the Con LEs, because depends on who you get set with, depends on how quickly they can draft, how quickly they can play their turns, how seasoned of a player there are. There's so much RNG that if you're trying to win, you have to play a perfect game. And that's how I feel about like BRs when it's a competitive format.
I
Interesting
like
take.
Yeah, I like the concept of like a BR champion. Like now that we've had it for a couple years now, it feels like.
No, last year was the first time at Worlds, I think.
No, they did it at Adepticon that one time I went.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So I like it. The only thing I don't like about it is that it is very much a borderline pay to win, because you've got to, depending on where they do it, like you've got to play a ridiculous amount of BRs, which means you've got to spend a ridiculous amount of money.
You do. The guys in the top 4 played over 20 BRs each.
Yeah, which is insane.
At Worlds, when I did it last year, I played the most of anybody, and I played 15. Like, they ran way more BRs at Origins because they extended the times out at Worlds last year. It gets to be pretty expensive if you're going to do that.
Yeah, I hope and I doubt they'll change it for Worlds, but I hope they do. Like, I don't know how, but I feel like there was a tournament or two, or a convention or two where it wasn't based off of just how many matches you had, how many you played in. It was like they averaged it out somehow or something. I don't know. If they could take away
it change somehow.
Yeah, if they could take away the part of, oh yeah, you got to play in at least 20 plus BRs.
Yeah, you can't do anything else. If you're going to do that, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
that's it. Like, I played. What did I play this time? 9 BRs, I think. I only played Thursday and Friday. I didn't play anything Saturday or Sunday. And after I was done like middle of the afternoon on Friday, right? Like at 4 o'clock or whatever. And I was in 3rd place after that. And then they played like another, like more than double, almost double what I had already played since after that. I think it's ridiculous amount of stuff.
Maybe they need to take the NCAA approach and just expand it to where there's an actual tournament for the final day, and it's like the top 16, and you just do 4 pods of 4, and then whoever comes out as first place, you can even do first and second in those pods if you want to extend it a whole nother round. And then that would allow, because 16th looking at Origins was 11 games. There was someone who played 9 who was technically Clay, only played 9 games but still was in 15th place. Like that would make it more reasonable. Be like, hey, get in the top 16 of the BR standings, and then you can play in the tournament on Sunday, and it'll be 4 pods of 4, and top 2 move on to the round of 8, which is 2 games, blah 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 blah. Like that would make it a little bit easier and more open to the rest of us who can't make and play 20 some odd BRs from a financial standpoint and a time standpoint. I mean, that's a lot of money.
You know what?
Yeah, like Ollie played 25 BRs. That's what he played.
Alex, I'm going to have I'm just going to have a different opinion from you. I think you should have to not only pay for all those BRs to get into the final round. It should be another $100 entry, just to prove your just to prove your dedication to the BR system.
Don't give WizKids any ideas.
What do you think, Isaac?
A solution that I've heard proposed is like, what was it for Origins? You had to play in like 20, 22 BRs to qualify. Whatever that number of like however many they're running, subtract some amount, say like 6 or 8, and you only count your standings based on your top that many BRs. So if there's 20 possible BRs, it's your rankings are based on your top 12 finishes. So if you got 12 first places and didn't play the other 8, then you're still at the top of the leaderboard, and you don't have to. But like, you still get benefits for playing in more to potentially up your record.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that. I suggested some. They asked me after Worlds last year, and I suggested some similar stuff to that. In a playoff, like Alex was talking about. But I mean, I don't know what they're going to do or not do. But well, probably nothing. But anyway, it's just you have to commit the entire weekend to doing it and spend a bunch of money.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about BR champions or just playing Heroclix in general?
Well,
Yes.
I guess that would apply to both, I suppose.
Yeah, you have to commit the whole weekend and spend a bunch of money. That sounds normal. Sounds like Heroclix to me.
I was talking about VR specifically, but you are correct. That applies to both.
I mean, it's something I feel like they can make happen at Worlds because they don't have to worry about all the other logistics. Because with Origins, it's like, there's more limitations there and less, I assume, less staff at Origins than there would be at Worlds. Probably make that kind of format work better. Have a World BR champion.
Yeah.
So I hope they take a different approach than just, hey, whoever played the most matches, cool, you're basically...
Well, it's not just the most matches. You have to do well in them because you get points based on your finish. You could play the most matches. If you just lost, like you got 4th place every time, you're still not getting in.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just the most.
I mean, it helps.
It definitely helps. Like, yeah, but it's not
it helps a
just
ton.
that.
I mean,
I know, but you've got to win stuff though too. Like,
I get that. It's kind of when you could throw enough money at it and play in enough games to potentially score enough points, that gives the impression of it's a pay-to-win system.
Right.
If I just keep playing, if I pay in 30 BRs, I could potentially accrue. I can limp my way into maybe getting enough BR points to crack a top 4. I'm not saying I'm not trying to negate what Oliver and Kyle and Howard and Ricardo did as the top 4. I'm just saying it gives that impression.
yeah,
Because it's like when you look at Team Sealed versus a constructed event, right? It always feels like Sealed is a little bit of a step down because there's a big luck plays a lot into it. Did you happen to pull good figures? Doesn't mean good figures means you win. It doesn't mean if you pull bad, you don't win. But that is an aspect of luck that isn't necessary. That is kind of added into when you look at how Team Sealed is reflected. How you look at those kind of champions compared to, like Isaac, the national champion. So BR
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I'd like to see BR separate itself from like the sealed aspect and be like, no, these players grinded it out, but it wasn't just they bought a bunch of games, because it isn't also that they also get a bunch of good prizing too, because they're playing in 20-something BRs, and they're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can make some changes to BRs. We probably talk about it too much. So.
Yeah. We did indeed. So let's talk about Saturday and Sunday, and we'll talk a little bit about, a lot about Modern, but we'll start off with saying it took the entire team of Clixed Off and 6 out of the 8 of us that entered U.S. Nationals all played the same team, which is Beetlejuice and Double Egan Rack. to only lose to Isaac in the finals, who he came up with a team all on his own. I'm not giving any credit to the rest of the 4 points, Isaac. I'm just assuming you built it all in a vacuum, and it took all of us to only get second to you.
Not entirely in a vacuum, but I will take as much credit as you're willing to give me.
Well, how did you settle on the team? I'd like to know.
So the very first team that I started testing with was Juice, Single Rack, White Tiger, and Pegcap. But I found that it couldn't quite beat Past Avengers as much as I wanted. It couldn't beat Null as much as I wanted. And every single game would go the exact same way, where White Tiger and Cap maybe do like 3 or 4 damage and then die, and then a slow burn of slowly losing the game with 1 Egan Rack and Juice. And then eventually I figured, if they can last for, like, if Cap and White Tiger go down in 10 minutes and then it takes them 30 minutes to take out Juice and Rack, then throwing another one on might just be better. And I think I only had the chance to test it in like 1 game against Luke before actually bringing it to the event. But I had tested a team very similar to it for the majority of my preparation.
See, that
it played a lot better, obviously, than Cap and White Tiger.
Sure. I think we'll take a small pause there. We came upon the team from the opposite way, Jason. So Jason was over at my house. We were playtesting for Nationals. Zach was there. We had started off with two Egan Racks with the Prime Anti-Venom and a Clintar. And we kept running into Egan Racks got outwitted. And then in a...
Anti-Venom was also just getting targeted and dying, much like Cap and, White Tiger.
Yeah. But then there was this fateful moment with tears streaming down his cheeks, his head in hand. Jason said, "The only answer is we've got to play Beetlejuice."
I don't think it was quite like that. But
it's pretty close, I think. There might have been a few more expletives involved with that.
I don't think there were any even expletives involved in it. It was just I'm sitting there and watching you outwit him over and over, and it just hit me and was like, it has to be Beetlejuice. It's just the answer. I think it stops the problem that we're having. and a multitude of other things that we went right into.
So let's talk a little bit about the equipment choices. We went Bloodstone and Venomax, just mainly because Bloodstone's really good. I think that's just the answer. Bloodstone's really good. Allows 1 Egan Rack to regen if he needs to. And then the Venomax is really busted. If you just punish his misplacement so badly. And then even in the case where someone masterminds, you get to beep, boop, bop, deal 5 to somebody else. So that's how we arrived at our equipment. Isaac, can you tell us a little bit how you had a little bit different equipment play? How did you arrive at the equipment that you played?
Yes. So the longsword was the first one I started with. It's free, and CCE is the strongest thing ever, +1 to all the attacking stats. Like hitting 14 for 6 is ridiculous for 0 points. And especially since the team is so starved for points. Like, I had 1 other Fenix Pog. Y'all weren't playing any other figures on it. I figured the free equipment must be the way to go. And then for Destroyer Armor, I just didn't have any time to test any of the other equipments. It was the first one I ran with. But the primary use, which I was not expecting, I figured the +2 defense to stop hits or the willpower on anything but a 1 would be the most useful, but I have to say the most useful part of Destroy Armor has to be the improved movement. Getting my rack to be able to charge over like the outdoor blocking of Vibranium mines was essential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to look at those two. I
have a quick question.
Go ahead, Alex.
Because you brought up Vibranium Mines, so this is for the three of you. How do you feel now after playing in the tournament about the whole map menu limitation thing?
I will say I loved it. I think it made games more interactive. There were no feel bad running away moments. Things just happened. You couldn't stop them from happening. You can make it a little bit harder, i.e. the Vibranium mines. But I think for me, I loved it. I think it was just a really great way to engage and play.
Yeah, I'd say it was like really fun to not have to worry about 3 turns of positioning on bunker in order to get like one attack and have games end 45-30, where we spent the first 30 minutes just moving around.
Yeah.
I do wish that they included a couple more maps on the list. Like, obviously, there's the whole thing. People paid for maps at H4H. They wanted the opportunity to use them. I think that kind of sucks. But overall, like, the number one part of the map menu is Bunker was banned, right? Like, I think even if you include every other map besides Bunker, you still get probably pretty similar map lists on everyone's teams.
Yeah. I didn't agree. Jason?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was nice not to have to worry about all that positioning on the bunker or trying to make sure you can get through it or whatever. It made I think it made the games faster. Yeah. I think it's hard to protect your soft pieces, but, I mean, I just didn't play soft pieces, so it was fine.
So do you feel like there was more alpha-ing than usual? Because I feel like those other maps slowed some of the alpha down. Obviously, Bunker does. But I know the most played map was X Mansion, which is the most closed-off map, or close to the closed-off map in the map menu.
Well, let's talk about that. Isaac, I know you had the Phoenix Pog on your team. That still only meant that you had full map with Beetlejuice, right? If you needed it. I mean, the team itself didn't alpha strike the whole map, I don't think.
No, it couldn't get full map with either of the racks, but it could from a couple squares up, which is nice to have when you can turn one barrier with the Phoenix Pog, and since they can't running shot or blow up the barrier, it essentially just was able to stall until I could get a 13 square. I think 13 squares is the reach with TK and a charge.
You still had to carry up the Phoenix Pog though on that move up with Juice then, right?
Yeah, so I'd like barrier up with the Phoenix Pog, sidestep up Juice carrying the bird, and then just move up my 2 racks to pick up whatever terrains they would want to have that game.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it was... So we didn't play the Phoenix Pog. This probably seems like the biggest difference maker. Let's talk about the sideline a little bit. Jalen also played the same version of the team. We played Ravencroft Institute, Fellowship, and Spectral Armor. Ravencroft Institute and Spectral Armor were to protect Juice from Eternity and Reverse Flash and Speedster damage. He was still going to take the pings, but he wouldn't immediately die to say like Hawkeye, Eternity, and a Speedster. That's why Ravencroft and Spectral Armor were on the team, and then Fellowship was on the team. You know, just keep folks in the game.
And those were very late additions once you guys found out that there was going to be more eternities than probably anticipated, or there was some eternity tech out there to help, because everyone was prepping for juice, right? So
correct. Yeah, it was a late last minute ad to add the Ravencroft Institute to help fight eternity.
At hindsight, do you think that was still the good right play? Did it still come in and help? How many eternities did you guys go?
Not for me. I played against one, and it didn't help me. I'd have rather had Fortify.
Yeah, hindsight on my end, it sounds like I should have played Phoenix Pog and barriered up and moved up just a teeny bit. But no, Ravencroft Institute, I never even flipped it. It was not the right call at the end of the day.
Yeah. I know in the chats we were talking about it leading up to Saturday, and there was some concerns about it, so I thought that was interesting, making that it was a judgment call of let's make this change quickly because of the concern of, you know, some of this eternity tech that is existing out there, and just because, as we see in the stats, there's a ridiculous amount of eternities being played. It's interesting that it didn't backfire necessarily. It just didn't. It was preparation for something that didn't come to fruition.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Isaac, talk to us a little bit about your one-shots and especially the Life Foundation. Curious to hear about your 3 one-shots and what led into your thinking there.
Yeah, so Fortify is the first one I add to every team. Like you were saying, you think you might have wanted to put Fortify in your build. It rarely gets flipped, which can sometimes feel discouraging, I think, but it forces your opponents to have to do 3 every time to get around it. So it often does more, even if it feels like it never gets used, which is nice. And then the other 2, Fellowship, I was not actually a huge fan of it, and I'm interested to hear why you all also chose to go with it. But Life Foundation, you guys had Bloodstone on your build to get you that regen. But Life Foundation lets the rack target himself with support, so it's functionally a once per game regen, if I need it. Or support on Juice if he takes like a couple damage, like a Pulse Wave or something. Especially since if I use a rack to use that support, it's still getting the +1 to the support roll.
Right. Yeah. The Fellowship was just there. I mean, you know, it heals 2 characters. We have, I mean, in general, it's for Juice too, right? But like, it's the saving card, right? It's the racks are getting down. We need to get them back up. Flip the card. You know, get them up a couple of clicks, hopefully.
Yeah, I thought it worked out well just for healing them back up. I'd have much rather had Fortify and Life Foundation probably than like Ravencroft in hindsight. I'm not a fan of the Spectral Armor a whole lot either, but I spent too much time playing Magic Friday night, and I just went with what they thought they said was good. So,
yeah.
Well, I think Life Foundation's a little bit better for y'all because you were playing Bloodstone, so your opponent didn't have as much of a benefit.
Sure. Well, and we hadn't even considered we didn't even consider Life Foundation at all. I don't think, because I don't think we ever mentioned it one time, because I don't think I realized that Life Foundation works on, regardless of, I didn't realize it worked on Rack himself. So, we just didn't know that. I think is what that comes down to. So, the terrain markers, we were all in alignment there. Heart-shaped herb, head, and upper body.
Yep.
No super secret special tricks there. Herb heals it, head gets rid of the shape change, and upper body tanks that hit. Was there anything special you were doing with them, Isaac, besides those 3 things?
Nothing special with them. Although I can say upper body was not as useful as I thought it would be, and oftentimes could have been stolen. So like if I we're prepping for Canadian Nationals right now a little bit, and probably not going to play the same team, but thinking about playing a similar one, and thinking about maybe taking off the upper body. Not sure what for, but found that it wasn't as good as it maybe seems like in theory.
Yeah, I think it was the weakest of the 3 we had. Felt like.
Do you think there's ever a chance you guys remove it for something like Symbiote Surface or something? I mean, that's the only other thing I could think of that is comparable. Until the Batman stuff drops, or the Strange, whatever that one, the Eye of Agamotto drops.
Yeah, Eye of Agamotto is obviously a huge one.
Going forward, at least, but
yeah.
that was my question. Was, head, upper body, and heart shape, or how often did those come into play for you guys? I know it helps that Eganrak has super strength, so you kind of tag some of those, pick up those things and carry it along with you. So
definitely used them all. I mean, they're all free is nice as well. Upper body is a little bit harder to place sometimes than you want it to be.
Yeah, I think the big thing that we'll see going forward, especially with Batman being legal, will be like display case as free.
Is that the one that protects your terrain?
Yeah, from being destroyed. Doesn't mean they can't be stolen or picked up, but it keeps them from being just shot.
They can't be destroyed yet. Adjacent to the display case can't be destroyed.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So most like anti-Eternity then, just making sure Eternity can't blast it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll have to shoot the display case, then shoot the, say the head. Which is not like impossible for, teams to do.
Yeah.
But, it's making them sink that first round of actions into doing that. So I can see that being an easy replacement for the upper body.
I mean, it's definitely useful for, the other Batman terrain markers. Like, the Bat Computer is one of my favorite terrain markers, but the downside to it is it could just get yeeted pretty early if someone bolts for it. So
that's a good... I don't want to... display case plus Bat Computer means that you have undestroyable blocking.
Unless the display case is destroyed. I liked, because I put in Silver on H4H Bat Computer on Eternity to give some stat bumps. And now that we're finally getting good Batman who can use it, or Batman family figures that can use it more effectively, if you don't have that whole iconic set, the Kryptonite Ring and the Bat Computer has not seen as much play as they probably should. Now that
both really good.
Batman. Yeah. Now that we have
Alfred's really good from that set.
Yeah.
Let's see. So let's round it out with a little bit of talk on maps. I think we all kind of a little bit varied on our maps, but Island Prison, Annex, X-Mansion. Isaac played Island Prison, Cord Industries lot, and Vibranium Mine. So Cord Industries sticks out as the outlier there. What were your thoughts on Cord Industries, Isaac?
To me, that's like the most open map. I know a lot of people like the Annex, which I think they have like the same amount of blocking terrain on them. But to me, having like one chunk of it in the corner leads to the opponent having like the potential to hide. Whereas Cord, the blocking is usually pretty inconsequential. Like it's spread out so much that they can't do anything specific with it. I never ended up picking it for the record, but whenever I'm building maps, it's just whatever is the most blocked up. In this case, to me, it was Vibranium Moons. And then whichever is the most open. which, once again, to me is Cord Industries. And then a third one that I also never played. But that's mostly... Island Prison is for Reverse Flash when he doesn't have any improved move, because he really struggles to get over the elevated.
Sure. Makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about your games. You ended up going 9-1, with your one loss being to Gabe Bischoff, and round 6 to the Dark Side Troop. So kind of a take on your team that you played with Eternity, a little bit. And then Gabe ended up winning Fellowship for U.S. Nationals as well. Talk to us a little bit about how the loss went. Because it looks like it was 125 to 195, so you scored a whole bunch. It looks like he took down Juice in a rack.
Yeah. So the score makes it look a lot closer than it was. Like, if he has one more turn, he takes out my other rack for sure. He has Granny Goodness, which gives him like 17 outwits or something. And so as soon as Juice went down, he literally said this to me. He said, "Alright, I'm going to go a little fast. Tell me to slow down if you need to." Because he moved like 9 guys, outwitted, I think, every single power on both of my Egan racks. They literally had 0 powers. I couldn't do anything. So the key to that game is, of course, don't let Juice die. I managed to get a little position in the corner where I thought I was safe, but he was able to force blast my Juice with his Apocalypse Planet, which he can kind of do from anywhere. Very good tech against Juice. Although I had positioned where no matter where he force blasted Juice, Juice wouldn't be able to, or would still be next to someone for Mastermind Fodder. But then I didn't realize he had Mind Control on Granny Goodness to Mind Control my Egan rack to punch Juice for 6 in the face, which I then fortified, and then he blasted him with Darkside.
Well, that's crazy, because so...
Yeah, she gives everybody Superman enemy TA, so...
Yeah, that's where it's coming.
With.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah. I also didn't realize that every time I took out any Apocalypse guy, she gave +1 attack and damage. Like, I just didn't bother to read her card, which, that's on me. But I took out, I think, 2 guys the previous turn. But there's no reason to ever take out more than 1 character in that matchup, I think. So I definitely played it a little poorly. But it is tough to play against that team.
Yeah. Isaac, this is where I would say if you were a regular listener of Clixed Off, you would have heard me talk about this team as I played it in the Battle World Bowl, and I was playing Null then, so I was decimating like 5 Parademons a turn, which also meant that like Granny Goodness was a 14 for 6, and that and that other fella, the deceased Black Adam, was also like 14 for 6. Granny Goodness is like, low key kind of slaps.
Yeah, she's legit, for sure.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize the outwit the Superman enemy. That is crazy good. Because when I played against her, I had Cosmic Energy. The team doesn't have any way to get rid of Cosmic Energy, so that's one protection. That's what's the new way? Is there some new way?
Oh yeah, it's Batman stuff coming out. I mean,
is it a Batman thing that gets rid of Cosmic Energy?
Lasso of Truth, I think, right? Isn't there a 20-point Lasso of Truth?
There's a Martian Manhunter that does that.
20-point Lasso of Truth, Outwit, Plasticity. When this character uses Outwit, adjacent opposing characters can't use Safeguard Outwit or Protected Outwit.
Oh, that's
it's
fun.
20 points, but...
Or like free on Amazons?
Free on just Wonder Woman, thank goodness.
Okay. Well, that's something to look out for.
Yeah, this upcoming set, I think, is going to change a lot of things. It's got a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, mostly in vault boosters. But
So let's take a look at your other rounds quickly here. I mean, you wiped Rick Ryan, you wiped Brian Mara, you wiped Max, you wiped the Null. So Michael Nelson was the only Null player in a field of 60. It was like 69 or 67, one of the two. How did the Null matchup go?
Yeah, so I'd only ever tested it against myself just on the kitchen table. So I wasn't really sure going into it how it would go. He actually won map. He was playing unthemed Null, but he won the roll and went first. So his first turn, he was able to bring out his juice before I can pick a power, which kind of sucked. My saving grace is that he rolled a 6 on his Beetlejuice. So my very next turn, I was able to TK my Egan far enough to charge his juice with the head and take him out. So I got my power back pretty quick. His game plan against the double juice rack team is very interesting. He used Beetlejuice to take out the Clintar symbiote he generated to get triple target on Null, so he could hit both Egan Rax and the Beetlejuice to get past the Mastermind. But I think I can't remember exactly if like the rolls were terrible, but they definitely weren't good for him. Like I got him to his first stop pretty quick, and once Null gets to his stop against Beetlejuice, of course, he has no movement attack, and he didn't roll the 1 or 2 on willpower leadership there, and so I was able to get him past it. And then once you get him past first stop, it's really hard for him to get back when he's only getting 1 willpower single d6 and maybe a breakaway on hypersonic each turn.
Sure. And then maybe a Blades roll there on top of that. Was the Matter Eater lad a consideration? Did he send him out at all and take your equipment? No, he can't, because you can't take free actions. It's the one case Matter Eater lad doesn't get to eat matter.
Yeah, he kind of just ran around and broke blocking so that his Null could get around a little easier.
Sure.
do you think, not to digress from this, but speaking of Matter Eater lad, do you think they're going to do anything with that before Worlds?
What do you mean?
What part?
Like nerf him?
The whole interaction, the fact that he doesn't, he pseudo gets around first turn immunity because he doesn't technically target, right? Isn't that the ruling, is because he doesn't target a character, he can go across the map and target a square and eat the equipment attached to a character.
Yeah, he's
so
targeting the equipment, not the character.
Right, so it's like a way to get around, a way to affect your opponent during first turn immunity. Whether, and it's a debate of whether you think that's fair or not. But I don't know if that's something. He's been around forever. He retires, right, this year?
Yeah.
So I don't know if, I doubt he'll get changed, but I think this is, I'm just curious, this was the first tournament I've heard people talk more about him, like, impacting things. Specifically Bloodstone, I think, was the reason why.
Yeah, and I knew that he did this, because I think Clay played him before. At least that's what sticks out in my mind, is that Clay Wood played him at some point on the West Coast. And then that ruling came out then. So I wasn't surprised. And if it wasn't Clay, I think it was a West Coast. No, sorry. It wasn't Clay. It was Ken Small. And it was at Nationals last year. And Sam had it happen to her. Yes, it was Ken Small from Chicago. He was playing Matter Eater Lad. And I think it was in Silver. Might have been in another tournament, which he went over and like ate Sam's equipment. And she had all of the same questions, and they were like, yeah, he gets around immunity because it's targeting the equipment.
Yeah, I guess it's just crazy to me that, not that it's like broken. Like, I'm not saying it's broken. It's just one of those, like, oh, WizKids is usually, tried to cut out all of those, hey, you're impacting your opponent during first turn immunity. Like all the times people try to do unavoidable damage, right? They've taken out all of those opportunities to do that. It's interesting that they haven't done anything with this yet, even though that's been kind of their mantra for a while.
Yeah, I agree. So from your other matchups, and we'll talk about the finals here in a minute, but anything before finals, I mean, you blew out everybody but Brody, basically. Was there anything from your other matchups that you'd want to share with the world?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with playing Juice, and I think that's why a lot of people are not a huge fan of him. Well, I personally think he is very healthy for the meta. He makes it so that so many teams are just an auto loss against him. Like, my first 3 matchups, I played against Phoenix Force Thor, who does nothing into Juice, a Sinister Syndicate spot team, which does nothing, the Eternity Gatling gun, which does nothing. So, like, a lot of those, not for my opponent's lack of trying, but it's just, I didn't win those games, Beetlejuice won those games. But I guess before the finals, the 2 other games of note were the one against Dylan, where it says 310 there, but that one was 1 shape change away from me losing that match.
So let's talk real quickly what Dylan played real quick. He played the Past Vengers theme, Caveman Wally West with the Longsword, Flaptor with Animal Man, Nico Manura with the Bloodstone, Reverse Flash with the Venomax, Captain America, the Kooky Cap with Mjolnir, Copycat, Phoenix Mobile, and the Phoenix. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah. So he, I ran the numbers on how much he could do to my Juice before, and then he actually, on the turn that it came for him to attack my Juice, he said, "You worried about me killing Juice?" I said, "Yeah, I think you might do it." And he said, "Nah, I don't think so." But he was very close. I should have just stolen his head on my first turn. That was a mistake that I didn't. Luckily, when he went to pulse wave me with Cap, he positioned 1 square away. So what happened was I went up, I took out his Fenix Pog, and then just sat there because he positioned very well. He made it so I couldn't get next to anyone else. He put up a very good barrier. So his Flash Raptor moved through Cap to get him closer because he Spectral Armored his Cap. His Flash Raptor missed. And then Cap Pulse Wave Juice for 1 to get rid of his power from Animal Man. He Hyper Speeded with Wally. And I missed my shape change there. Cap had the head, but he positioned 4 away because he was counting at the Pulse Wave squares. So Wally hit him for another 2 plus the Black Flash damage to get him to click 5. And then he had 1 more action for Reverse Flash, where he needs a 4 to hit because it's a 13 on a 17. I have 1 shape change roll, which I hit to eventually win that game. But if I miss that shape change roll, my Juice dies, and he has 2 outwits to get rid of my charges, and I just can't do anything. So that was a very intense match.
So if he had positioned the Cap with the head 1 square forward, you think you would have just lost? So he kind of made the mistake originally with the 4 squares instead of the 3?
Yeah, absolutely. If he had placed 1 square closer, I think he needs to hit those attacks. It's not easy. He has 1 chance at a 6 with Cap that needs to hit, and 1 chance at a 7 with Wally that needs to hit. And if either of those miss, we're in basically the same situation that we were in anyway.
Sure. And I kind of always count the attack rolls aside, right? Because dice are dice, but the mistake comes down to the positioning. The mistake chain there, because, and this is not being criticizing of anybody, but this is just how close some of these games come down to. So the micro decisions always make a big deciding factors. So you not stealing the head, put him down a path to Pulse Wave. Him being one square off with the head allowed you to shape change. He still almost got it, but you got the one shape change that mattered.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. It's those micro decisions that like can be the difference between winning a game or not.
Like it comes down to like same thing when I played Dylan in 24 Worlds. I forgot that my Cosmo had Outwit. And that changed the course of how I played that game if I just remembered it had Outwit. You know, remembering one Outwit doesn't sound like a lot, but it's those micro decisions when it comes down to competitive play that you have to play a perfect, near perfect game to be able to not have to rely on a single shape change roll for your whole tournament, basically.
Yeah.
But that sounds way intense. So you said there was 2, right? What was the other one?
The other one was against Brody, where I went in and hypersonicked with my Beetlejuice. I was feeling a little cocky because he was playing Spot, and obviously Juice is amazing into Spot. And so I went hypersonic on his Spot, forgetting that if I miss, I take 2. I missed that attack, I took 2. And it took me like 3 turns of just like positioning away so that he couldn't get off any charges with his cap, and healing with the Bloodstone, with the Heart-Shaped Herb, in order to keep my Juice alive. So that mistake made a game that I probably had a very good chance of winning into one that was a lot closer than it would have been had I not just attacked his Spot for no reason.
Right. And real quick, Brody was playing Captain America, the Arena Cap, the Spot, Eternity with Bast, Reverse Flash, Sinestro Core Recruit, Copycat Phoenix, Lucas PJ Scott, and Scott Crampton. So now, admittedly, you played one of our teammates, Ryan Knotson, in round 5. Ryan had a little bit of practice with the team, but it sounds like you blew him out pretty quickly. Didn't use any of the one-shots. But then you ran into Caleb in the finals. And I saw your dad post that you spent longer explaining to your dad how you won the finals than it took you to win the finals. So if you're willing to share some version of how the finals went, what decisions you made that inevitably gave you the edge and the win in the finals.
Yeah, so we had a lot of time on the car ride home, so I figured I'd fill the silence with something, so it gave me a lot of time to think it through or talk it through. But the number one thing that was the difference in that matchup is really the Phoenix Pog. And not for the reason that even I would have thought going into the match. The reason the Phoenix Pog is so strong is because the way to win that match is with Beetlejuice mind controls. If I can get off a mind control on either his Juice to move him away or on both Egan Racks to punch his Juice and take him out, then I win. If he can do the same thing, then he wins. But because of the Phoenix Pog, I'm able to base his Juice to make it so he can never get a target off for mind control, and the only target he would have is the Phoenix Pog. And of course, if you mind control Phoenix Pog, the Pog can't do anything. I have plasticity with the rack, so it can't really break away. If he punches it, I could just mastermind the same as if he punched Juice. So the difference was having a useless character, more or less, who couldn't die, that I could base his Beetlejuice with. Compared to him, who, if he tried to base my Beetlejuice, I would have mind control targets. Is what the long conversation in the car ride back boils down to, I guess.
Yeah, and I had practiced a version of the team with the Phoenix Pog, but in the mirror they were able to get to the Phoenix Pog and kind of run a little bit after getting up the 10 points. So that's why our version of the team over here, we had kind of dropped the Phoenix Pog originally. because it came down to score the Phoenix Pog and run.
Yeah, I mean, with the Mastermind, though, it would be pretty difficult to take out. I know in the finals, I did leave my Phoenix Pog open for a turn, which was a huge mistake. I normally set up with it next to Beetlejuice. So if I had set up the way I had every other game in the rest of the tournament, it wouldn't have been left exposed in the back of the map. But how in your testing did you find that, like, they were able to KO the Phoenix Pog? Because obviously it has Mastermind to the Juice, or sorry, to the Eggenrax just the same as Juice does.
You know, the people are going to laugh at us. I think we all forgot that Phoenix Pog has Mastermind. Figurative, raise your hand between Jason and Alex if you forgot that the Phoenix Pog had Mastermind.
I just never played him on my team to begin with, but...
Well,
yeah.
did you know he had? We've played Phoenix Pog for like a year, over a year now, and I think we just all forgot that it had traded Mastermind.
Yeah.
Because Isaac, I was listening to your explanation, like, what the frick is he talking about? Phoenix doesn't have Mastermind. I have literally forgotten that Phoenix Pog had Mastermind.
Yeah,
And I think that most everybody listening to the show, if they were to be honest with themselves, would have the same explanation, that they are all going to units while listening to the show and going, Phoenix Pog has traded Mastermind.
It's probably because 9.5 times out of 10 or whatever, if Phoenix Pog is being attacked, you're like, I'm not going to Mastermind it to one of my other people. I'll just let Phoenix die. Not knowing that there are a lot of times you would rather Mastermind away from Phoenix Pog.
Yeah. I think, what's the song is, I ain't as good as I once was.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I think that comes down to just not reading the freaking cards as much as we used to, reading the back of the Pogs. So there's your answer. I'm willing to admit it. I just forgot that he had Mastermind. Simple as that. But yeah, so there's the difference maker. So I think a lot of the questions came up, that we had, McConnell Lamar's question, what did you see on testing that caused you to land on this team? I think that answers the question. The Phoenix Pog having Mastermind, keeping it alive, tying it down. And so I didn't watch all the finals. I couldn't bring myself to do it. Was Juice the first thing that you KO'd in the finals?
Yes, yeah.
And then the Egan racks were, did Caleb have bad rollouts from there, or?
I mean, the first thing I did was mind control his Juice to go away from his racks, and then my longsword rack was able to just hit him for 6 and knockback to take out his Juice.
Okay.
And then from there, I always had the ability to run, I guess. And so I'd say we had pretty even rollouts. But the fact that I had a prob, so I was hitting far more often than he was hitting, and he was missing more than I was missing. And that, like, if I needed to, I could just put Juice in front of him so that I could Mastermind to whichever rack wasn't damaged. Made it a lot easier once Juice was out.
Sure. So, yeah, there you have it, folks. The equipment did make a difference. And this not to take away anything from Caleb's run. I mean, he was undefeated all the way until the end, which is a huge accomplishment, and we're extremely proud of Caleb. But the whole discussion here is how micro decisions, tiny tweaks, make huge differences in the outcome of tournaments. Not a reflection of necessarily any individual player's performance or piloting of their teams. Because obviously Caleb did extremely well. and along with Isaac doing extremely well. We both ended up, technically 9-1 at the end of the day. But
we each had the same record.
Yeah, but your 1 was less important than Caleb's 1.
How do you guys all feel about obliterating the Egan Rack market?
Is this where I admit that I sold one of mine for $250 on eBay? I'm the $250 guy on eBay.
Yeah, if you don't have an Egan Rack, good luck at this point.
There's some on eBay. The eBay, as everything does in Clix sales, it's the race to the bottom. People have their Egan racks up for cheaper than my other one at this point. But I will keep my other Egan rack for now. And if I were to play the team again, personally, I would just play the clay wood version with the double caps and the Egan rack with juice. May not be as good, but I personally would be okay with that.
That's fair.
So, well, yeah, I mean, obviously, super huge congratulations, Isaac, on your 5th national championship. Let's talk a little bit about some questions and round out today's show. Isaac, I'll let you answer because I have not looked at the entire Fight for Gotham set. Dennis Chavez asked, what are your thoughts on Fight for Gotham City? What, I guess in preparation for Canadian Nats, what's sticking out to you from the set?
Well, for Canats, they did put out an announcement that Fight for Gotham will not be legal, although it is the team sealed set.
Okay,
so I haven't really thought about it in a competitive thing. Although I will say, obviously, Bolos warps the entire meta. It's like the strongest thing ever made. But I feel they may do something about it before it gets the chance to be playable in major WizKids events.
I certainly hope so. And let's just touch on that real quick because that is completely warping at the moment. Let's talk about what Bolos does and with the interaction with the utility belt. So Bolos is a it's a utility belt item? No, wait a minute. No,
yeah, it's an utility belt one shot.
It's a Bolo. What am I missing?
Bola.
With an A?
B-O-L-A.
Okay, I was thinking
B-O-L-A.
Alright, so...
It says, when a friendly character hits with a ranged attack, you may have each hit character gain immobile until your next turn.
Which includes the good old power of Pulse Wave. And then the utility belt itself allows you to reflip over utility belt one-shots just at the beginning of your turn, right?
Yeah. Also, Air Alfred says once per turn when a friendly character with the Batman family keyword hits after resolution, you can roll a d6, and on 1 through 4, you can flip the friendly face down utility belt one-shot face up.
That's awesome.
So that works with Eternity, of course. And, whatever other Bat family characters we're going to play.
But I think, the big thing becomes, Cable pulse waves an entire team, hits them for 4, immobilizes them, and somebody in the back with the utility belt lets him do it all over again each turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I did not, Isaac, I did not realize that Canadian Nats is basically going to have the same meta as U.S. Nats.
That's a good thing, though.
I think so. Canadians are, they're international. They have a lot less ability to get access to products. So I think that's a fine decision on their part.
Well, we don't really know how much access we're going to have to products. This is, once again, I think I've mentioned this every show at this point, is I'm apprehensive about the set because Vault Boosters is very scary to me. because you're talking about a lot of figures, and a lot of the good stuff is in the vault boosters.
Right.
So what is the availability?
We are going to an event the week after it comes out, and it's going to be legal for it. So Jason and I are at the Springfield Summer Slam. So we're going to be on the hunt if we want to play it. Sounds like I'm going to be playing those bolos.
I already have a bolo one shot that I got from the pre-release, so I just need a utility belt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff in the set. Like, to WizKids' credit, they've kind of thrown everything into this set, because there's a lot of equipment, one-shots, terrain markers, there's some good legacy cards. There's like everything. It's just feels like a majority of the set is in vault boosters, and if they're at the rarity of chase boosters, then we're in trouble, because
they're not at the rarity of chase boosters, I don't believe.
Well, I mean, a rarity in the sense of like availability for stores.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think it's that
even if it's like one step up. Like you were mentioning, you ordered your store's ordered like 4 or 5. Like, that's still like not enough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
get all this equipment.
I'm just gonna pop for whoever has a pre-order up and just pre-order all the different vault boosters if they have them all cracked.
Yeah, the way they, in my opinion, how they should have handled this is it should have just been something that comes with almost every single brick or something. I don't know how they would do it, but not something you have to order separately or what. Like, it needs to be.
It's been in regular boosters.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ultimately would have been the better option. But I understand they want these cool vault boosters to have certain, here's this team and here's.
I told Jimmy at Origins that they shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Well,
like Daniel was talking about earlier, we're getting into the collector's boxes, right, for Magic. Like Lorcana, it just announced they're doing collector's boxes, and the community is not happy with that because no one likes exclusivity of playable figures into something that is a limited quantity, like a very limited quantity.
So cool. That's what we experienced with the Pogs originally. Those Pogs that were like just in the chase boosters. That's why we stopped doing that, right?
Yeah, like now if they come out and WizKids throws up vault boosters on their website and you could just order a vault booster, then this whole argument is null at this point. Like, that's fine. That would solve the problem. If Joe Schmo, if I could go on their website and be like, I really want to try my hand to get in a vault booster. I couldn't score one locally because my local only got 4 and there's like 8 of us. Like, okay, can I go buy a vault booster from WizKids? That would solve the problem. Like, they could just have a ton of their vault boosters on their website and we could just go order it. Okay, cool. Like, that solves the problem. But
yeah,
I'm worried about just, I know it's not as exclusive as chase boosters, but I feel like most of the figures in the vault booster are pretty cool and do good things. So they're going to be highly coveted, and we already have, like, that's not the way to go, is to have all the good stuff in very limited manners of getting it.
Yeah. Well, Alex, we can talk a little bit more about that when we do our set review coming out. So let's finish out some questions for Isaac. So McConnell Lamar's question, do you have a room or box or someplace where you keep all of the trophies or plaques from your wins over the years?
I do. I have, but all the space on the top of my shelves at home is Clix trophies, right above the Invincible Comics collection.
So did have you had to have a separate room dedicated for that at this point?
Not yet. Although I did take the Hammer of Thor trophy from Champion Clix to school with me for a year before it fell one time, woke up everyone on the floor, and I decided it needed to return back to the shelf.
Fair enough. So real quick, the one thing that we didn't catch, it's caused some controversy coming out of nationals was strength of schedule. How do we feel about strength of schedule, Jason?
I'm fine with it. I had played games under that system before, and I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah,
I know it's new to people for Heroclix, something, and they don't like change and that kind of thing, but I think it's fine.
I think I'm pretty much there, same way. I mean, it was new for me. I haven't played a lot of other competitive games at all in this genre of things. So it was new to me. I listened to some of the comments, listened to the explanations. I think Adam's got some really good data coming up for us. And I'm okay with it. I think it mirrors what I have always wanted to do with my games, and that is just win. Right? Like, wipe and win. If wiping's not an option, then winning's got to be an option. So the more wins, the better, right? And I think the Dial Tactics said it well in their article. Basically, going out of nationals, don't go 4-2, and you don't have to worry about it. Isaac, what were your thoughts?
I think strength of schedule is amazing. I mean, as for qualifying, it makes a lot more sense than points. I think it feels a lot better if you play against the 3 top players and you get to qualify than if you went, I swept people at the bottom of the bracket and then lost to 3 top players and it didn't matter. So I think the result is overall very positive. The only consequence I've seen is team building choices and maybe a little bit of play style changes for people. People are more encouraged to play slowly because points matter less. And team builds Double Eigenrack Juice sometimes wins games 40-0, which is a lot more. We're able to accept that a lot more when the points don't matter at all. But I think people would build with Double Eigenrack Juice either way. And as for the play, people playing slower, I think it's just, if your opponent's playing slow, tell them to hurry up or call a judge or something. I was able to talk to Brian Galley about it a little bit when they first announced that they were doing that. And I brought that up as an issue, and he basically said to me, we have these rules for stalling for a reason. If you think your opponent's playing slow, he's there's no shame in telling them to hurry up a little. And I think that's a very good point. So to anyone listening, don't have to be mean about it, but if you think your opponent's playing slow, it's not a bad thing to ask them to hurry up a little bit.
Yeah, and I would say I would say from our end, strength of schedule didn't factor into our team building at all.
We were on this before we ever even knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I didn't get affected by strength of schedule, but I did read all the articles and all the back and forth coming out of Origins. As someone who used to play Don't Die teams, or those type of teams that didn't frequently score a lot of points, I know I was bigger of a fan of strength of schedule than just purely the based off of points as the second tiebreaker. I think the only thing that, depending on obviously Adam's discussion that we'll have next episode, is looking at the weight of the dropped players. I think that's one metric that they could take, keep an eye on and change it, because I think Heroclix does 30%, I think, for dropped players, as the minimum percentage that you get calculated into your OMW. And I know Magic does 33%, and I think some other games do 33 or maybe even 35. I think that's the only thing I think they could look at going forward is 30 the right number or whatnot for players who dropped specifically.
Sure.
There was a guy that went 1-0 and dropped. That's crazy.
Huh.
Maybe he had something else to do. Maybe he didn't expect to win.
Maybe not.
He just wanted to crank up his opponent's strength of schedule, get him a sweet 100% on that average.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, let's keep moving down through here. Todd, Russell, Isaac, what's your favorite format to build Clix teams for and why?
Gotta be modern. I mean, the only options are modern and silver, right? Maybe sealed, although that's not really a thing you can build for. And
yeah, you can plan for it, but you can't build for it.
yeah, silver is... It can be really fun, but I'm not a huge silver fan. No shade at the people running it. They're doing the best they can. It's just Heroclix has a lot of broken interactions and a lot of crazy figures that it can be very difficult to keep a 400-point, a bajillion figure pool balanced.
Right.
But modern is very fun, especially right now. I like it a lot.
For sure. So Peter Parker asks, just in general, I think with Fight for Gotham, let's give Fight for Gotham a little bit. I mean, we haven't all looked at it, and Isaac, I have the same idea you do. I hadn't looked at Fight for Gotham at all, and I won't probably until the set review. Now with you not looking at it until after Canadian, that's probably. Bola aside, do we think that double juice or a double rack juice used up all of its juice at Origins, or do we think it has a chance to go on to Worlds? Now, obviously Thunderbolts is completely unrevealed, but is there anything in general that just makes it really tough to play?
I don't think it has enough staying power. It's a very powerful team, and if you're not prepared for it going in, it's almost impossible to beat. But it's also very simple in the sense that if you were to build a team that would beat it 100% of the time, I don't think that would be very hard to do. It would lose to other things plenty of times, but I think it's a very easy team to counter. So if you think 11 people are going to show up with it, I don't think it stands as well of a chance as it did at Nats this year, where people may have been prepared for Juice, but not necessarily the Juice double Egan Rack team.
Yeah. I tend to agree. The other thing that we looked at in the data was Caleb and you both avoided the Pulse Wave matchups, which is also huge. I ran into the Jubilee, which Pulse Waves for 4. Ant hit the roll, and it goes down pretty easily if it gets hit for 4 over a couple of turns.
Yeah, and there's some Pulse Wave matchups you can do stuff against, like against the Universal Weapon guys. Excuse me. If you just start with Egan Rack adjacent to them, they can't do much. But Jubilee in particular is really tough. You just kind of gotta hope for her to miss.
Yeah. And sometimes she doesn't, right? And sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't. I mean, that's the dice game for you. So Pulse Waves is probably the biggest thing. Then the TK in your Phoenix Pog would have helped you shut that off, like say on a cable. Because you probably, do you have full map 1 to 5 plus 10? So yeah, you can go touch a cable if you need to. Depending on positioning and barriers and maps and some things, but theoretically you could just go touch a cable and turn off his universal weapon.
Yes.
But yeah,
he can just run away at will. But yes.
But he can't run away in Pulse Wave. That's probably the big thing.
Well, not with Beetlejuice around. No.
Yeah. So, I think it really comes down to your team has to be prepped for Juice. And I think what it comes down to, the Egan Racks aside, they do a lot of cool things, obviously, and they're very hard to take down on their own. But you have to be prepared for Juice. Whether it's a triple target from the Clintar symbiote, whether it's a super strength sort of tactic. Also, Mimic play went up, right? So you got to be able to remember to get around a Mimic. Whether it's some sort of super strength tactic with an Egan Rack longsword knockback or some sort of Zala tech. You got to be able to get your head, you're elevated in place. You got to prep for juice. I'm kind of ranting, but you gotta be able to prep for juice. If you can't handle juice, a lot of matches are just going to be auto losses, whether there's Egan Racks or there's Captain Americas or there's 200 points of commons. All right, a couple more questions quickly. Jack Smith wants to know, what's your favorite color?
I've been waiting for this question all day. Probably purple. Yeah, purple.
Purple's a good color. The color of royalty, which makes sense for the GOAT, the king of Heroclix. Sable asks, we went over the equipment, asked about the equipment. And you've talked a little bit how you're prepping for Canadian Nats. And then we've talked about Fight for Gotham. So, Sable, thank you for your question, but I think we've covered most of that. Joaquin says, how eternal do you think the format is becoming? I think Nationals proved the resurgence of Juice and the resurgence of Juice and the, I don't know what term I want to use there, but the solidification of the brokenness of Eternity, Bloodstone, Black Flash. That will still be good going into Nationals. Going into Worlds. Juice will still be good. Eternity, Black Flash, Bloodstone will still be good unless they do something about it. Any disagreement to that?
I'm still not sold on Eternity being the new hotness. Definitely a good piece, but I don't see myself ever building with Eternity first over Reverse Flash, who has a higher attack, who has the prob still, who's less points, and can do the Black Flash thing twice.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. You start with Reverse Flash. He does all of his stuff. You add on a Caveman Wally. That's totally fine. Then you add on a Cap. And then you add the Eternity. Those things are so point efficient that sure, you're not starting with Eternity. You're starting with two other heavy hitters. You're theming them really easily with the Pulse Waver, Super Strength Pulse Waver. And then you're adding on the Eternity last. It's the Eternity's like the double Scott Porter. It makes theme really accessible for a lot of things, and you're not point filling with a bad piece. You're point filling with a good piece. Especially with the Bast, because it's everywhere outwit.
That's fair. If you're going theme and you're playing Eternity, I get that a lot more. But there were plenty of non-theme Eternity teams where he's just thrown on there as an everywhere outwit who could do a little bit of stuff with Black Flash and the Bloodstone, where I just felt he seems like he's gonna be a lot better than I think he sometimes plays. Sometimes he just hits 1/7 that he gets in a game and does 2. And yeah, he's only 50 points and only needs to do that. But
well, and he also slows down a lot of
He's definitely a bit overrated right now.
Okay, I can agree with that, because don't forget he also does the reroll thing too. And not that that's a huge deal, but he also has map-wide prob, so he can make some bad rolls stick too. Now it comes down to rolls and math and dice game, but he can make some good rolls stick too.
True.
But the bad rolls probably feel a lot worse, because he's probably probbing you into a bad roll that's sticking. Alright, let's move down a little bit further. Ryan Opak wants to know, your Jinkos, are those vintage?
No, those are not Jinkos. They're Amazon rip-offs that I got a couple years ago that were too big for me then and fit now.
Nice.
Unfortunately. I'd love to claim that they were, though.
Yeah, and you're talking to the rest of the show that we were all around when Jinkos were brand new, and now we all feel old.
Remember Jinkos?
Yeah. I think I had a pair of knockoff ones when I was a kid because the full brand was a little too expensive.
Man, if Jinko's made a big comeback, we won't even need dice trays or carrying cases. You can have your whole Heroclix team in your pants.
Oh man, Alex, there's a joke there somewhere about having your team in your pants.
Yep, there is.
Yep, somewhere.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Tyler Shaw sends his congrats, but kind of we've covered his question. David Gaffney, we covered yours as well. Isaac's going to keep winning as long as Isaac can keep winning. Then the last question comes from Denny Bobliodek. What was your hardest matchup of the day?
I'd probably say the matchup against Dylan was the hardest. Like, it came down to a shape change. It was, I'd say, the two most major mistakes I made over the course of that event were not stealing his Sentinel head and not moving up the Phoenix Pog against Caleb as on turn 1, waited until turn 2. So both of those could have potentially cost me a game. And so either one of those two games, although I will say the Dylan one ended up being a lot closer than the finals one, but it could go either way.
Makes sense. All right, final thoughts, Alex.
Eager to start looking at and talking about the Batman set.
For sure. Jason? Did we lose Jason? Jason, if you're there, we...
No, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
I want to praise WizKids a little bit. They ran Origins really great. Well, I guess this was Ian's first time running it, and I think they all did a bang-up job. Thought everything went really well.
Yeah. I will echo a bravo WizKids there as well.
Yeah, no, don't. They did just a fantastic job all the way around, I think. So, good kudos to them. Yeah, I don't know. I had fun in Origins, so I'm looking forward to playing some Batman now.
Agreed. Isaac, final thoughts for us.
I just want to say thank you for having me on. It's still crazy that 11 of us pulled up to the event with more or less the same exact team. I cannot believe that happened. And then, last thought is, if they're gonna ban juice, you gotta ban 5 other things. So if we're gonna hear more negative juice takes, it's gotta have some nuance to it.
What's the give us your quick list of what's the 5 other things?
Spot, Indigo, Kyle Rayner. Maybe Black Flash gets a rework so that he works how he's supposed to, and he says deal 1 unavoidable, then turn their dial back to where it originally was, so it's not actually healing. I know it's not a free, but it works with Reverse Flash and Wally. Those are the 3 that come to my mind. I don't know if I can give you 5, but definitely Spot and Indigo Kyle are the first 2.
Yeah.
That come to mind.
Fair enough. Well, again, thanks for being on, Isaac. We always really appreciate you joining us, and congratulations on just continuing to mollywop us. That was a term that we used that was in the silver chat, and I was saying we should have got rid of the restricted list with some of the changes coming up in silver, and it just the term was, well, Isaac will just use 5 pieces, from the restricted list and just mollywop us. And I said, guys, you can ban 50 more pieces. Isaac will just mollywop us with those instead. We really appreciate the time and effort, and I think what is continuing reflective of your record is the time you have to dedicate to the game, the amount of repetitions you have to put into the game. and you're continuing to prove that consistency matters, time matters, practice matters when it comes to the highest level of Heroclix and being successful there. Very rarely do you just get to just pick up and roll and win a tournament. It requires a ton of practice, and you continue to prove that. So, big congratulations to you. Thanks everybody for listening to Clixed Off today, and we'll talk to y'all next time.
Later.